And a good evening to everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. As I'm coming from my living room live in Columbus, Georgia, but I know they are partying in Henderson, Tennessee. As my alma mater, I'm representing the sweatshirt. Freed-Hardeman University are your 2024 NAIA National Champions as they defeat Langston in the championship game. And it really was nerve-wracking from start to finish. They were down by 13. In fact, they were down by 6 with less than a minute to go. They got some steals and they got a three-point play. They cut it to 1, and then they got another steal, and they actually stop Langston on a possession, and they get another basket to go up by 3. And Langston had a chance to try to tie it with a 3, but another defensive stop, and the Freed-Hardeman Lions are your 2024 NAIA champions. All that's going through my mind right now: when is the parade in Henderson? This is a great accomplishment for my alma mater, a school that I dedicated a lot of my time and effort in my broadcasting career, as I helped out as the play-by-play announcer for the Freed-Hardeman basketball team. But I was primarily baseball, but I did basketball as well. And there's just a lot of players that I was very familiar with, including players like Daniel Hope and Wes Miller, Brad Nielsen, Tomaso Orsansky, Ronnie Brown, Eric Jones, Christopher Smith, Tony Lambert, Nathan Aaron. That just got some great players. And I got to say that with the backcourt of Wheaton Lax, I mean, it looks like Quan Lax just took this game over. I thought that he had an incredible job. Spurlock was able to get some big-time foul shots. And Langston, I thought they were going to win this game. Langston had a 6-point lead with a minute to go. And I felt that Roy started to become a dog. The last couple of minutes in the game, he started taking it over. Freed-Hardeman took the 60-59 lead, and then Roy hits that 3 in the corner. I'm like, oh, here we go. And Langston's up 62-60, and then they go up 67-61. But Freed-Hardeman, they never quit. They came back. They win the game, 71-67, and they are your national champions. All right, so this is basically what's going to happen. I'm going live on the Sports Beat. It's all about Freed-Hardeman. If you have any memories of Freed-Hardeman, share it in the chat. If you want to hop on, if you're a Freed-Hardeman alumni, former basketball player, we went to school together, please hop on so we can talk about Freed-Hardeman athletics. Hey, I got my first person that's hopping on the Sports Beat. I mean, he's been a frequent guest of mine. He is the host of a podcast called Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis. And hopefully we can get Travis to maybe share that link. Travis Creasy, proud Freed-Hardeman alumni. I'm supporting Freed-Hardeman as well. How's it feel? National champions.
Well, I don't know that it's set in just yet because.
Well, yeah, I went live immediately after the game ended.
Yeah. So you're like live in the moments. I don't know if you caught it live tweeting on Facebook, but I was posting the score. I had a few people go, "We can't watch it. What's the score?" So I thought, well, I'll just do a comment section and keep the score rolling. So I have a not necessarily play by play, but I've got score by score there, at least for that last 5 minutes of the game. So, but
and I'm actually, Travis, I got to be honest with you. I was watching this game, and Langston was up by 6 with less than a minute to go. I thought it was over. I was like, congratulations. Good season. They made it to the championship. But, they've never been there before. Neither has Langston. This is the Langston's first time in the national championship as well. But I thought that their head coach was a little bit more experienced because he coached at Talladega, won an NAIA championship 2 years ago. And he has that. He just looks like a college basketball coach. I mean, you got to give credit to Coach Drew Stutz. Now, we didn't go to Freed-Hardeman with him. He's a little bit younger than us.
Yeah.
What an outstanding job by Coach Drew Stutz. I mean, I mean, we're fans of Freed-Hardeman. We remember the likes of Daniel Hope and Wes Miller, Bradley Nielsen, and Eric Jones. But Quan Lax this guy just had ice water in his veins. Spurlock was knocking down big shots. Wheat was knocking down big shots. I think this is the best Freed-Hardeman basketball team we've ever seen. And we've had some good ones over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. Just taking a beating too. I mean, the physical, like you were talking about Coach Stutz, and the interesting thing is he's from my area. He's from Florence, Alabama, played at Marshall Bible School. I went to camp with him. Actually, his sister is an assistant for the girls, and she was at Camp Maywood with us a couple of years ago, went to Waffle House, all that good stuff. So I actually know their family. I know their dad a little bit better than them. He's a preacher there in Florence. But, man, I just love the adjustment, right? They came out. The officiating was kind of letting them play, letting both teams play. And Freed-Hardeman adjusted to that, came out, and even after getting teed up, they kept playing physical. And, man, I just thought the gritty, you nailed it. That word is perfect for the way they finished that game. And like you said, I was right there with you. I was like, 66-61, 66-60. That's a tough road to hoe, especially with the athletic guys that Langston had. And, man, Freed just kept plugging away. And I guess that's kind of with that leadership. You kind of have, like they were saying in the broadcast, he's coached for 5 years and hadn't had a transfer. Like, that's unheard of. And so I guess that experience just kind of played into that last 30 seconds. Like, we're not quitting. Why would we quit? Why would we go anywhere? So, yeah.
Yeah, and that full court press, forcing the turnover, getting the 3-point play to cut it to 1. And then, it looked like Langston panicked. They got the timeout off. And then Freed-Hardeman, I just had all the confidence in the world that Freed-Hardeman's going to get a stop here. Their defense, they have the full court press, and they play very good defense. And once they got the second steal, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. I think that Freed-Hardeman takes the lead. They do. And then they get another steal, and then, they take the 3-point lead. And then, they win by 4. That foul at the end with like 0.2 seconds, they just got to let them play and just kind of end the game there. That kind of delayed our moment, Travis.
Yes.
We were excited. I already tweeted. Not tweeted, but I already posted on Facebook. Freed-Hardeman is the champions. There were still 0.2 seconds left to go in the game.
Absolutely. The 0.2 seconds, the confetti had already been flown in the air. They had to sweep the other end. And it was interesting to me, thankfully, the announcer was like, now they're sweeping up one end and they're not sweeping up the other. And so at that point, it was kind of like, okay, there's nothing they can do. And, of course, he went ahead. The shooter, I forget who it was, that shot the last free throw, makes it a 4-point game, and that pretty much seals it. So, yeah.
So, yeah, this has pretty much been Freed-Hardeman week all week. I've actually opened my podcast talking about Freed-Hardeman in the Fab Four and then the championship. I had Gabe Reynolds on. He was a student coach at Freed-Hardeman. I'm hoping to have the sports information director. He's not a student anymore. The sports information director and play-by-play announcer for the Freed-Hardeman Lions, Dustin Seymour. Hopefully I could get him on the show because I want to know what was that moment like when he got to make that call that Freed-Hardeman is your national champions.
Yeah, it's got to be wild. Like I said, how many times have I watched, even at the NCAA level, and seen the strategy that they do at the end of every game and thought, we hadn't come up with a better strategy than this, than to shoot free throws and try to get them to miss. And man, the strategy that was employed, like I said, I'm blown away. My wife and I were watching it and let the kids stay up late to watch. And I'm just still in shock that they were able to grit it out. But that's the way they played all night. Once they flipped the switch and said, okay, this is how the game's going to go. And they played every ounce of it to the very end. And when they're out there scrapping for the ball as the clock runs off, I was like, I look at Whitney, I'm like, they're going to win this thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to win this thing.
All right, so I have to throw this in there because I told my wife, Freed-Hardeman just won the national championship. So she went to Faulkner. She had her moment because the Faulkner basketball team won the national championship in 2001. Mm-hmm. Look, we have a girls' championship. We won it in 2018. Yep. And so, that we have that. but it's just something different about when your men's basketball team wins. I mean, it's just a great feeling, and it's not really frustration because this was only the ninth time they've been in the NAIA tournament. It was always the girls that went to the NAIA tournament and went to the Fab Four. My first year at Freed-Hardeman back in '99 with Kiana Elam and Kara Sanders, they went to the championship in 2014. In fact, it was 10 years ago to this day. I was actually going on my Facebook timeline. I did that screenshot on ESPN 3 of Freed-Hardeman against Oklahoma City. They lost that game, but 4 years later, they ended up winning the national championship in 2018. And now Freed-Hardeman, not only they got the spotlight, they got to be on ESPN 3. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to watch it because my ESPN subscription is linked with my Disney Plus account and everything. And so I hopped onto iHeartRadio. I got to listen to Dustin Seymour on the call. Fantastic job. And then finally I got on my computer and I was able to watch the second half. And wow, I mean, what a game.
Down by double digits, right? They were down by 10 at one point.
13. They were down by 13.
That's what I thought. And just, man, I just keep coming back to the word gritty. Like, no quit, never gave up, kept playing hard, playing tough defense, and got physical right back with them. I think in the first half, they might have out physicaled, if that's a word, out physicaled Freed, and kind of at halftime the adjustments were made. Like, if they're going to play that way, let's play that way. And Freed never backed down. And it's hats off. I kept feeling like if we just would get a lead, if we'd ever get on top of them and kind of flip that pressure back to them, that we could win the game. And man, we did that. Then they came back, got up, and wow, just some clutch free throws, clutch defense.
Well, Travis, I'm going to throw this out here because normally I don't do this on my show. I mean, first of all, this is a legit show that's on the radio station. I've had this show for 4 years. If you went to Freed-Hardeman, and if you want to hop on my podcast and talk about what you're feeling, it's kind of like a call-in of a radio station. What's your emotions going like right now? How are you feeling? Feel free to hop on and talk some FHU basketball. I'm here with Travis Creasy. How's Ben doing? Is he excited as you are?
Yeah, we were definitely we were in several threads. We had one in a Facebook Messenger with a good pal, Jeff Taberner. Will Mahan was on there, Freed-Hardeman alumni, who's on the podcast with us. And then we were texting back and forth, and it was kind of like, once again, I'll be honest. I'll be open and honest. Ben and I both were like, that may do it. There was a point where we got mugged down low. Our guy got knocked down. The ball gets turned over. They take the ball. It looked like there was like 3 fouls that weren't called. And I text Ben. I was like, that might do it. That's going to be hard. And then we went down, and we kind of got away from attacking the basket. Some floaters that didn't go in. And I thought, at that point, maybe we lost our gumption. But, man, what was I wrong? And I've never been happier to be wrong.
I've never been happier either. And I have a lot of Facebook friends that went to Freed-Hardeman, at the same time, more than 20 years ago. They are just posting on their news feed that's, yes, we did it. National champion, screenshotting the TV, celebrating right where they stand. This is incredible. I mean, this is what we were waiting for as students of Freed-Hardeman. That we could finally say that our men's basketball team are national champions. I mean, we've already claimed that, the women won the national championship in 2018, and it was a great feeling, but now the men have won it too. And I'm just on cloud 9 right now, Travis, because that Freed-Hardeman, when it comes to my sports broadcasting career, that's where I got my start. Yeah, I was, totally. Doing the play-by-play in color for the Freed-Hardeman basketball team and baseball team for 91.5 WFHC, which is now 91.5 The Lion, which is now on iHeartRadio. I mean, times have changed. I mean, they now are live streaming the NAIA YouTube channel, and we had an opportunity to see Freed-Hardeman on TV, and it was just an incredible feeling.
That in itself is kind of a weird feeling to know on ESPN3 and to watch it right here in my living room. And to be honest, if you think about it, if you go to a broader sense, just Church of Christ schools in general, you've got Harding taking
they just won the
championship.
the Division II championship.
Basketball. Who's going to win baseball? Like we gotta make this happen somehow, some way, right? Somebody.
Well, I mean, you have Harding that won the football championship in NCAA Division II, and I'm excited about my next guest. So Travis, this guy, he was the play-by-play announcer for the Freed-Hardeman Lions back in 1999, 2000. I am proud to welcome to the show Rob Frazier. Rob, how you feeling? Freed-Hardeman are your national champions.
Man, this is so unbelievable. Like just the way that game went down. And hey, what's up, Travis? Man, good to see you, brother.
Going, dude? Good to see you.
Congrats. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. You know, as Richard and I, used to be a part of. They've gotten a lot better, obviously, in 20 years, right? The guys that broadcasting the game, I was going back and forth. I had the ESPN on mute, listening to the 91.5 crew there. It was just great. And I just saw Coach or President Shannon on the ladder. That's good. They still got the they still got
on TV.
Yeah, they still got the ESPN feed up. Okay, here comes Coach, and looks like maybe his son hopping on the ladder. So good times, and I got my son right here in the house. And
we are celebrating. I got the Freed-Hardeman sweatshirt, and I want to get Gabe Reynolds here.
Oh yeah,
to celebrate. Gabe, it's a time for celebration. Freed-Hardeman are your national champions.
What's going on, y'all?
I love it.
Yeah, Gabe doing big things at Ezel Harding.
yeah, man. I just got done watching the ESPN broadcast and was I was like, when they got down double digits, man, I started worrying like everybody else. And then they turned on the full court pressure. And once they put the full court pressure on, that was pretty much a wrap after that.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I got some friends that actually coach on the other side in Langston. So I was kind of torn because I was trying to cheer for them, and then I really wanted us to win, so I was kind of back and forth. But I'm glad the Freed-Hardeman pulled it out. It was like that's really big. That's something that's we were there. I was there from '98 to '02. I worked with the men's basketball team, Coach McCutcheon. I just got off Facebook and Chris. So a lot of guys are excited. They were part of the team. They are excited to see the red banner coming back to Henderson and West Tennessee.
All right, fellas. When is the parade going to be in Henderson?
I don't know. Ask Travis, man. Travis is connected.
No, not the parade, Richard. Not the parade. When is the chapel celebration is going to have to be here in the Sports Center. It's the chapel celebration.
So my nephew now goes to Freed-Hardeman. He's got to next time we get together as family, I got to find out what that feeling is like going back to school, because I know they just came back from spring break. What is that feeling like on campus?
Go ahead, Travis. Are they in session this week at Freed?
I don't think so. I think they're.
No, I think they're out this week. They're out this week because
it'll be a late night. Either way.
Yeah, man. So Richard, maybe it'll be maybe after Easter, huh? When the students come back.
Yeah, but can we give props to Quan Lax? I mean, he could go down as probably one of the greatest Freed-Hardeman basketball players ever. This guy just took over the game. I mean, we've had some great players, Gabe. I mean, we've had Daniel Hope, Tony Lambert, Christopher Smith. We've had Jamie Norsworthy, Tomas Orasansky. But could we put Quan Lax up there with the best Freed? Cheeky Stevenson, Michael Gaines.
I think because he led the school to his first national championship. I think he's at the top. He's got the ring. None of the other ones do.
Yeah. And what was the other guard that was paired with them? The ESPN crew was bragging on both of them, and that they're not done yet.
Yeah, they got a young team. They got some sophomore guards. I mean, they're gonna be okay. I think what Coach Drew Stutz has built at Freed-Hardeman is
Unbelievable.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they
Let's
had.
hey, let's do what we can to make sure that coach don't leave. I ain't gonna say back up the Brinks truck, but you win a national title, and if he goes back and he gets there and has another one, there's probably a Division II school right up the road.
You talking about
up there in
Harding?
Nashville. Just saying, you don't want to let that one go.
I thought you was talking about. Oh, you talking about Lipscomb? Okay, Lipscomb or Harding trying to steal.
I thought he was talking about
trying
Harding.
to steal our guy.
I was talking about Tribeca.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
okay. Yeah, I didn't know the scoop there.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a little early to talk about that. Let's celebrate this and let's run it back next year. But I'm actually excited. I'm going to have Dustin Seymour on the show this week. He is the play-by-play announcer of Freed-Hardeman and the current sports information director.
Okay,
So I'm excited because I heard him on the radio because, as I was fidgeting through my phone trying to pull up my ESPN Plus account and because I got it linked to my Disney Plus and my Hulu. And so I pull up 91.5 on iHeartRadio. It's now called 91.5 The Lion, by the way, Rob. It's no longer 91 WFHC. But Dustin Seymour right there doing the play-by-play. And
yeah.
it was a great moment.
And one of the FHU professors was his own color commentary. They did a great job. So I wonder, Travis, any T-shirt ideas for this? I know they got the Elite is Earned. They got some cool gear I saw on TV there.
I don't know. I got to go find it, though. I got to buy one of those. We mentioned Harding winning their natty. I tried to pawn one off of them when I was in Texas a few weeks ago. No luck. Hopefully, as an alumni of Freed, I'll be able to pull it off a little bit there. So
There you go. Yeah. You use those connections. Absolutely.
Fellas, as you know that I have a podcast that's 5 days a week on a radio station. This has been Freed-Hardeman week. Gabe, you've been on my show earlier this week. I've reached out to Daniel Hope to try to see him, to get him on the show. Anybody that's a Freed-Hardeman basketball player that worked with the school, I've got the open invitation. Please come on the show so we can talk up Freed-Hardeman basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got my guy Tim Alsop, who's a pulpit minister there. Travis, you might have run into him a few times there in the Memphis area. He's doing good things. He was on the basketball team back in the day.
Well, fellas, I'm privileged to welcome to the Sports Beat special edition of the Freed-Hardeman 2024 NAIA Championship Celebration.
Who we got?
Ben Hayes.
Oh, looky there! All right. Now we got Oh no, man! How much NIL is he wanting?
Ben, how you feeling?
They would not pay me anything. What a game, man! It was awesome.
Oh man,
Such a good game.
One of the greatest feelings. And we all went to the school right around the same time. To have our men's basketball team win a championship because we don't have a football team, but that's okay because
intramural,
yeah, intramural football, yeah, club football team. There are some colleges that have club football teams. They did play that one game in pads, but this is our. And I hate to steal this from Jim Nance and March Madness. This is our one shining moment.
Oh man, no doubt.
This is our moment.
No doubt. We got close with the girls team, when Coach Neal was there, right? And he did some great things. And
yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. It's good to see this. And man, I want to comment on the physicality of this game. Unbelievable. I mean, if you went to the basket, man, you had to be all business. And then even the ESPN guys were talking about the officiating and then that whole debacle at the end with the confetti. And rightly so, that coach from the other team, man, he was hot, man. He was hot. But, I mean, that's the end of the game. But prior to that, just the grit and the grind and the heart it took to come back. I was thinking, I think were they down 6 with less than a minute to go, Gabe? Something like that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were down by 13.
A hockey game.
Yeah, they were down by 13.
What do you think? What do you think, Ben?
I said, I think it turned into a hockey game at some point. It was just all physical. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, you had to be a real man in that game. Whew. Yeah. So just
Maybe being hollered at.
I do want to give a shout out to some of my Facebook friends that are Freed-Hardeman alum, including my preacher at Rose Hill Church of Christ, as Nathan Diller, proud Freed-Hardeman alum, also big time basketball player. Also Ryan Shear, he posted on my Facebook page. Katie Greer Gilchrist, Jack Gilchrist, they've been posting to my Facebook page. They're excited about Freed-Hardeman as the NAIA champions. Really, my news feed on my social media is completely blowing up. It's all about Freed-Hardeman right now as your national champions.
Hey, I got a funny moment that the ESPN crew commented. Did Ben and Travis? Did you happen to catch the older guy that was he was interviewing Coach? He had his newspaper interview recorder, and he was going up to Coach on the sideline and interviewing him when they were still cleaning off the floor with the 0.2 seconds left. Did you guys see that on top?
I heard him comment on it.
Yeah,
That's
as a coach, I'd be like, get that thing out of my face. There's still time on the clock. Get away from me, right?
Yeah, Coach was kind enough to go ahead and take that interview, man. But I thought that was hilarious. Does this guy not know? Does this guy not know what's going on, or does he think?
Yeah, I posted Freed-Hardeman University national champs ? Exclamation mark, question mark. And I don't know. We're sitting here with 0.2 seconds on the clock. What's going to happen, But yeah, very gracious of him. I'd be slapping that thing out of my face.
He's like, I got a deadline, man. I got a deadline to meet.
The old guy had figured out there's no way that other team can win the game now. But the rest of us were like,
oh, man, indeed. Yes, confetti everywhere. Let's talk about the guy, Richard, who got the MVP and his performance throughout the tournament.
Well, you talking about Quan Lax?
No, he didn't get MVP. No.
Spurlock.
It was Spurlock.
Spurlock,
okay.
yeah.
Man, I missed when they announced the MVP.
Yeah.
I was too excited. I wanted to get. I turned off my TV, that really was my laptop, and I started setting up my equipment because I was getting ready to go Facebook Live to talk about Freed-Hardeman. I missed the MVP, but I'm glad that Spurlock got it. I thought that Quan Lax was going to get it. I thought that Wheat, even though he got in foul trouble, I thought that Wheat and Lax, that backcourt play, what a phenomenal job by Coach Stutz and that full court press. Freed-Hardeman really was disciplined. When you look at Langston, first of all, their coach looks like a college basketball coach. He's got the slick back hair. He looked like somebody that could be coaching in the Big East. But Langston had some transfers that transferred from D1 schools like New Mexico State. They look like a team that was ready to win this thing.
Yeah, I wonder who their one loss was to. If it was to like a D1 school or something. You got the scoop on that, Gabe?
I'm gonna find out who that loss was to.
Yeah,
and then go ahead.
Early on, I saw the one loss in the column, and then I saw that dude hit the three from the hip, like just throws it up there to beat the shot clock, and it goes in. And that's when, as a coach, I start thinking, this may not be our night, fellas. From the hip, just goes in, and I was like, man, this
off the
these guys can shoot
deflection.
threes. Yeah,
No doubt. Hey, Travis, talk about how you was feeling when they were down 10 at halftime. I was like, oh, man, that's what I was thinking too. Like, man, it's been a good run, but I don't know.
There's a couple of times I had that thought, but I did think at half, I thought, if we can come out and kind of flip the switch and get physical, if they're going to let us play, let's go out and play. And I think that's exactly what they did. And Coach didn't back off of it. Even when they got in foul trouble, he was like, well, we're going to win or die here. It's win or go home, losers, So I think that was the biggest thing for Coach Stutz. And even when he got teed up, it was like, keep the pressure on. You got to stay physical. And like I said, I think Spurlock went up that one time. I texted Ben, and it was like he got clotheslined to the floor, and a guy sat on his chest, and the ball went the other way. And I thought, oh, that's the end of this one. And then we came down and we were a little timid to get to the basket. And I thought, yeah, the floaters aren't going to work. You got to go to the basket, draw the foul. and they kind of resettled themselves, and that's exactly what they did. They got to the line, made some strong, like this upper body strength of some of those guys to finish and get the and one through traffic, 2 or 3 guys down there and get it to go. Like, to me, that was really the difference. Like, they kind of backed off and then they went on the attack again, and man, to clear the difference, what was it, 6-7 points in a 50-second span?
Yeah, especially when the game wasn't going your way. And that Gabe, what's your thoughts on them giving him that technical foul? I mean, he wasn't being disrespectful. He certainly wasn't cursing or anything. Like, he was just trying to advocate for his team. His team wasn't getting the calls. I mean, what's your thought on them teeing him up and how the game was going at that point?
I think the referee kind of got too emotional into the game at that point. Like I said, he wasn't being disrespectful. He was advocating. I think even the way that he was talking to the ref, he wasn't using hand signs. He wasn't in the face. He wasn't pointing. He was just trying to get his point across. And that could have been a pivotal moment and swung momentum in the game. But props to the team for staying poised. Props to Coach Stutz for keeping the guys focused on the task at hand and not let them allow the referees to take them out of the mindset that they were in, because that could have swung the pendulum the other way to Langston in that moment. And once it becomes a trickle, if he would have responded after the tech, then the referees would have started looking for any little ticky-tack foul to go against Freed-Hardeman in that game. And what you don't want is to have the referees dictate or decide the outcome of the game. And I think after that, the players buckled down, they locked in. The referees kind of got back out of the way and just let them play and let the play be decided on the court.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did find out Langston's they lost back on February the 1st to Southwestern Assemblies of God, 58-72.
How in the world? Oh my goodness, that was definitely an off night.
What was that team's record?
It was another Lions. They lost to another team with the name Lions.
No,
How
wait a
about
minute.
that?
Wait a minute, Gabe. Ben and Travis, you guys are going to love this. Did you say that school's name was Southwestern Assemblies of God?
Yep.
Yeah.
Waxahachie, Texas.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't that be Swag U? That'd be Swag U. They lost Swag U in the house.
I found another T-shirt I need that T-shirt.
Yeah, man, we got to order that. Don't order that T-shirt.
What was their record? What was their record on the year? Swag U.
Swag U. Hold on. And it was a conference game.
Okay.
Well, remember, Freed-Hardeman defeated Grace, who was the overall #1 seed. Grace only had one loss going into the Fab Four.
Okay.
And Freed-Hardeman was able to win that game to get to the championship.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, you don't have to be good for the season. You just got to be good for that night.
Man.
You can be the #1 overall seed, but if you have an off night.
But how great does this feel, gentlemen, that we remember more than 20 years ago those heartbreaking losses to Union, to Lambeth, and not being able to get out of the Trans-South tournament, only making it to the NAIA tournament this is only the 9th time they've made it, and maybe they've made it 3 times since I've graduated. But, I mean, what do you think, gentlemen? I mean, this has been an improbable run. I mean, usually it's the women's team that gets to the Fab Four and has won the championship and has gotten to several championship games. I just can't believe that the men's team just came out of nowhere and they won this thing.
Pretty impressive. Pretty awesome.
It was bound to happen. I mean, you can only, when they finally got the Trans-South and they went to the other conference, they had coaching changes. I mean, they had the talent, they had the players, they had everything that was needed. It was just, getting the right combination. And I think they They finally got the right combination, and they got on board and they got going. And once you get a taste of it, because they've gotten there, they've been in the first round. They made it to the second round, but when you get to go back to Kansas City after playing 2 rounds on your home court, and then getting there for the the quarterfinals and the semifinals and the finals, it's a feeling. You're bought in. That team was bought in. 4 losses on the year, and they played some elite and tough competition. They didn't just show up and was like, "Hey, we're a Cinderella team. We're happy to be here." No, they said it. It's in the hashtag. Elite mindset, chasing the red banner. They knew what their mission and what their goal was from day one. They stepped back on campus this year. When they started their first day of practice, they knew exactly where their end goal was going to be. Only 2 teams can finish playing on the last day of the season, and they said, we want to be one of the last teams playing on the last day of the season, and we want to be that team cutting down the nets in Kansas City.
Yeah, that's a great point. Any idea, Richard, how many games they had to win to get this far in the tournament? At least 4, maybe 5, right, to get to the finals.
The first 2 rounds were at Henderson because they were the number 1 seed and they hosted the first 2 games. Then they got to the Sweet 16 in Kansas City. So
okay,
1, 2, 3, 4,
4 to the
5, 6. So this is their 6th game.
Wow,
that they have had to win.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was the best season in school history. I mean, 32-4. I mean, and then the next time I visit Freed-Hardeman, which has been in over a decade, get to hang that championship banner. And how about the sign going into Henderson? I mean, I know they have this for the women's team already because they won it in 2018. But I also do want to say, Travis, I did mention this. So now I kind of got some confidence going because my wife went to Faulkner and they won the basketball championship in 2001. So if this feels really good.
He's not going to let it go.
No, I know. But how about Church of Christ schools in the school year? Harding winning the NCAA Division II championship and now Freed-Hardeman win the NAIA championship.
I don't know. Gabe's got me fired up, man. I'm ready to go shoot some hoops right now. Suit up, put some shoulder pads on. I got a few helmets to choose from over here. Let's just go get it done. I'm jacked up now. It's great because Whitney, my wife, graduated from Freed-Hardeman as well. So that's the most she's been into a basketball game in a really long time. But she was fired up, coaching them up. I was up in my room getting ready to come down and watch the rest of the game, and I hear her and my daughter down here coaching Freed up. So that was really, really cool.
That's great. Hey Ben, what was it like at your house tonight, brother?
I was actually watching it on my phone all by myself. I just had it on, and I had my headphones in, and I was I was slinging some arms every now and then. Those and one shots that were made, but. What did you guys think about that defense at the end? That full court. Incredible. I mean, be down 6. I think we were down by 6 with
less than a minute to go.
Yeah. And to put the press on and somehow come back, it was just, that was an amazing comeback there at the end.
Well, let me tell you something. Like, if you look at percentages, I'm sure that Langston might have had a 99.9% chance to win this game because they're up by 6 with like 40-some-odd seconds left to go. Freed-Hardeman gets the steal and the 3-point play. They cut it to 1.
Yep.
And then they get the other steal, and they lead by 1. And then they get another stop, and they go up by 3. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. They were not supposed to win this game. I mean, if you're a Langston fan, you have got to be heartbroken. Because they let this one slip away. We're happy. Ready. We can celebrate. But I watched this game toward the end. I mean, Langston had their opportunity to close this game out, and they could not complete the job.
Well, I forget what the young man's name was that shot the ball. 2 guys.
Oh, that was Roy.
Down to his hip, and he puts it back up, and it goes in. And at that moment, I was like, okay, well. Let's hang on.
Maybe it's not in the cards this year. No, I was thinking the same thing, Travis. Maybe it's not in the cards this year because it seems like Langston wants it more. And Roy was just a dog. I mean, when he had scored 6 straight points, and then they took that 5-point lead after they were down 60-59, unbelievable.
Yeah, he followed his own shot too, and grabbed it and put it back. I mean, yeah, that was unbelievable effort right there. Good to see. And just what I love too is just the total team basketball. You know, that everybody playing as a team, and also it's on national TV. I mean, the guys get excited, but you see so much of that, Gabe and Travis, as you're still coaching actively. You see like so much of that. Somebody makes a shot and they want to pump their veins or throw up the 3 sign and do all this eccentric stuff, and hey, look at me, I made a basket. And you didn't see any of that from our guys, and I think that's refreshing. You should get excited, but it was clear that they was playing as a team, all for one, and it was good to see that on display tonight.
Well, you saw Freed guys picking up the other guys. I'm sure Langston did the same thing.
Yeah, right.
On a couple occasions, we knocked one of their guys down, and we're over there picking them up. And then the baseball team, the Freed-Hardeman baseball team,
oh man,
front row. Locked arms going back and forth, and that had to help being out in Kansas City to have it looked like a really big support group that traveled out there with them.
Well, let's talk about the fan base real quick, because going through my Facebook page, Dr. Gary McKnight, Facebook friends, Sunshine Seniors, he opened up the gymnasium at Henderson Church of Christ. They had a watch party, had over 51 students. I mean, you got people sharing on social media like where their watch party was and screenshotting their TV. I mean, this is really a close-knit group. I mean, I know we went to this school more than 20 years ago. We're aging ourselves, and I know we got a future Freed-Hardeman student there with us. But I do feel that it does mean a lot to have the place we went to school win a championship. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah,
I mean, sports-wise, there's more things in life that are a better feeling, but I'm talking to like being a sports fan.
Yeah, there was a lot of good support everywhere.
Think about when we were there. We always had to defer and watch Union and watch Lambert and all these teams, celebrate championships. And we were there, but we would watch everything else. And it was. I remember one time. We were the number 1 seed, and Union came down to Freed-Hardeman, and Union beat us in the Sports Center for the Trans-South Conference Championship. So to, finally say, hey, we got one now, and everybody knows West Tennessee. That's all they say is West Tennessee. You can finally shine a light on the small town of Henderson, because tonight Henderson is bigger than Nashville, bigger than Memphis, bigger than LA, bigger than Las Vegas. We are the national champs in Henderson, Tennessee at Freed-Hardeman University. Boy, hey, let's go.
Let's go. Exactly. And gentlemen, I do want to remind you, this upcoming Easter weekend, there's going to be a lot of Lads to Leaders conventions in Nashville, Atlanta, Orlando. They're going to have a Freed-Hardeman booth. I guarantee it. I got to get me a championship t-shirt. I'm hoping that they're selling them at the booth. I'll be in Atlanta for Lads to Leaders this weekend. So I'm going to be just excited. I'm going to be saying hi to the Freed-Hardeman booth and just talking this up. And hopefully I can get myself a championship t-shirt.
Well, let's get that enrollment up, right? Let's get that enrollment up.
I think that should be included in my
enrollment
tuition.
is going up right now. The endowment is going up right now.
Hey, but I was listening to the radio broadcast some, and the one thing I didn't hear, when the broadcasters would take a break, I didn't hear an ad for benandtravis.com on 91.5. I mean,
It should have been. It should have been.
I know. They do. I don't know if they still have Henderson Home Furnishings. Remember Brad Page would do his commercials. We got popcorn and Cokes for the kids.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
man, I remember those reads. This broadcast tonight is brought to you by the gas station and the sub sandwich shop and the Piggly Wiggly and the Jack's Barbecue and Bell's Diner and all that.
Jack's Barbecue, Jack's. Just Jack's.
But gentlemen, I do want to be real for you. I want to ask you this question because we do have a Freed-Hardeman alumni that is a national sports talk show host. I'm talking about Chris Vernon in Memphis.
No doubt.
Does he mention this on his show tomorrow?
Hey, well, who knows, man?
If it's mentioned, it'll be mentioned in the beginning of the show as a quick shout out, and then it's going straight into whatever the Grizzlies or whatever.
Yeah, and he'll have like Gary Parrish on. He has John Roser, Devin Walker, and then they'll get into what they talk about. Mainly, they talk 60% Grizzlies and then Memphis Tigers, and it's a Memphis show, but he does have a national appeal. But I do think that
maybe he'll wear a shirt or something on the show tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, I actually I'm hoping that he gives Freed-Hardeman a shout out on his show tomorrow.
I keep waiting for him to play Johnny Can't Play Baseball. That's a banger. And then didn't he crash the Up All Night party at one point or another in the show?
All right. Well, so the thing about that, that is very true.
He was a prankster. He was the best prankster.
He was a prankster, but he was wildly talented. I mean, he had a big personality. He was larger than life at Freed-Hardeman, and so I knew that he was going to be a national sensation in Memphis. I think that early on in my broadcasting career, there were mistakes made. And, I was in my young 20s.
Let's not even get started with mistakes, Richard. We were all in college together, so there are plenty of those. We can unpack them all right here, but you don't have to do that, man.
So is what I'm hearing is that he got his start on the Up All Night.
That's what I'm hearing. That's exactly
Up All Night show?
No, so he had his own show called Late Night, him and Ronnie Sane.
Gosh.
Rest his soul. Ronnie unfortunately passed away, and
I'd forgotten all this stuff.
I mean, he was another larger than life personality of Freed-Hardeman.
Yes.
Loved him.
Ronnie
Loved him
P.
to death. He was great. And him and Chris Vernon had their show. I had a lot of broadcasting classes with Chris Vernon. He was just a big personality that just did all these internships, and then he became big in sports talk radio for over 2 decades now. And so now the Chris Vernon show is wildly popular. I mean, it's not just popular in Memphis. I think that it's got a national following. And I'm proud of him. I mean, I'm excited that we had somebody that came from Freed-Hardeman that became, like a Josh Pate. That a lot of people in the national scene know who he is, but if you ask any random person, he's not that level yet, but he's getting there.
I think it's interesting. I would have been impressed to see David Shannon climb up there, clip off some net, maybe Brad Montague clip off some net. Who knows what might show up at the parade?
Did Brad Montague make it to Kansas City?
Just saying.
Hey, but David Shannon did clip the net.
Oh, of course he did.
Yeah, he climbed the ladder for sure. Hey, I want to know, Gabe. I want to know, with you coaching, fairly close now, and you having a talented girls team, is there any chance that some of your girls might be on Freed-Hardeman's radar in the future?
I have no comment on that one.
Right.
I will say that I have 4 girls that are interested in Freed.
Okay.
But the interest from Freed is not there.
Okay. So, all right. It just goes to show you how tough it is, right, these days, getting your spot on the team, right?
Well, they're all looking, they're being recruited, but they kind of want to stay close to home. 2 of them are being recruited by Union. One
Wow.
is being recruited by uh, Kentucky State, and the other one is being recruited by Harding.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
And
Okay.
Lipscomb is starting to come into the picture. That one that's being recruited by Harding.
Yeah, man. Well, hey,
Be
you're
on the
doing
lookout for the Harding Bison.
hey, how great of a job is Gabe doing if he's got girls that are being recruited by those schools, man? Coming from as small as your school is there, so congratulations on that.
Yeah, we
Thank
appreciate all your success, Gabe. And I know I had you on the show earlier this week, and you talked about how when you got your start as a student coach at Freed-Hardeman for the men's basketball team, and some of the players, I rattled off a lot of former players that I've reached out to. I wanted to try to get them on this podcast. I'm talking to like the likes of Daniel Hope, Brad Nielsen, Wes Miller, Christopher Smith. I mean, we've had Ronnie Green, Eric Jones. I mean, we've had Rion Van Wyck. How about Dietrich Watts, the transfer from California?
How about those names? Just in general, those names. Those are phenomenal names, right? Those
absolutely.
podcast names. You put that on there with so and so. I got to listen to that. Just
do you guys remember the Midnight Madness where Keith Wilson just was dunking and it just got the crowd fired up?
Yeah, there's definitely the quality of play is just unbelievable. I mean, these guys are high flyers these days, and you just see like I said, the physicality of the game and the pace of play. I mean, it's impressive.
Is Freed's game usually like tonight? Are they usually 3-point shooters mainly, or I hadn't been able to watch most of the games leading up to this game, but it seemed like maybe that was something that was a part of their game that they kind of abandoned maybe later.
I do believe that they tried to really just get physical with Langston, going with the full court press. I really think that after being down by 13, they just focused on their defense, trying to get stops. Like every time Langston went down the court, I kept saying on the broadcast, Freed-Hardeman's got to get a stop. But their defense was just swarming. They was making Langston eat the shot clock and force up wild shots. I mean, Langston did huge. I mean, Roy was just incredible. He was shooting shots, wild, crazy shots. Kind of remind me of all those shots that Yale took against Auburn in the first round of the.
Hey, so a couple things there on the broadcast. They talked about that. Freed-Hardeman's 3-point average has been phenomenal throughout the year. My guess, with this being late in the tournament like it is, fatigue sets in. Playing so many games in a short amount of time. So what I think happened, obviously the final score was probably below their season average for scoring. But what I love, and Gabe and Travis, with you guys still coaching the game, what I love here is that Langston was defending their 3-point shot like crazy. They weren't getting many opportunities or attempts. And so Coach made the adjustment, and he said, all right, if the 3 ball's not there, we're going to go inside and we're going to get whatever opportunities we can get. So the fact that they pulled this out with the officiating seeming like it was in Langston's favor and them not getting as many attempts on 3 and maybe even not making as many threes, all of that together was just a masterful coaching job, I thought.
There was a stretch there where it seemed like, I think it was 6 or 7 fouls on Freed that weren't even shooting fouls. It was like every time they'd try to drive the lane, Freed would foul them or supposedly foul them, and it was like it just killed the momentum because it put them in the the bonus real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like those weren't even shooting fouls. And then on shooting on both ends of the court, on shooting it was hack them and go. I mean it was crazy, and they wouldn't really call the shooting fouls. So I was kind of surprised at all those fouls on the drives that were just away from the shot, and some of them were away from the guy with the ball. They were just random. So that was just really interesting.
And the free throw shooting was good too. A big factor down the stretch is that Freed-Hardeman was able to make the free throws, that they were given from their drives to the basket or loose ball. So it was called pretty even towards the end of the game. Yeah. So that was good to see. But another factor that I noticed too is just the incredible loose ball action, right? Guys diving everywhere. Ball. I mean, it was phenomenal to see, wasn't it, Gabe? That kind of game.
I mean, when you know, that's something that you preach all the time as a coach is, it's 50-50 ball. And down the stretch, the final 5 minutes of the game, you saw guys that really wanted it. And, a loose ball here or a loose ball there, if you're not diving on the ground to get that ball, then you don't have the want and you don't have the will to want that championship. You're that close. So, you want to value every possession. One thing that I give Coach credit on was making that in-game adjustment. Like you said, they were defending the three. They took the three ball away. Then they said, you know what, if they're going to do that, we're going to go inside. And, even when they got down, just locking in on defense. One thing I tell all my team, I don't care about your offense. It's your defense that's going to always travel. And what's the old saying? Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. What happened tonight? Defense won the championship.
Yeah, it was that full court press. I want to also give a shout out to some more former Freed-Hardeman basketball players. Cheeky Stevenson, Clint Hayes, Rion Van Wyck. We talked about him. Seth Matlock. What about David Harper? I don't know if you guys remember David Harper. I actually was vacationing in Hilton Head and ran into him, and we started talking Freed-Hardeman basketball. How about Myrie Chapman? Freshman year, 1998, he averages 18 points a game, and then he decides to go to Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
1 year. That dude was a
one-year wonder.
He was a 1 year wonder. We called him the helicopter. That guy, it was the first time we had a guy that could really dunk the basketball. It was like he'd come running in like a helicopter. Just, I don't know. There weren't even Gabe was calling games that year. Gabe, you were on the radio that year. He played for us, right?
No, I was on the staff.
Oh, you was on staff. Okay,
I came on radio in '99.
Okay, maybe Richard and I were doing radio.
No, in '98, I was not a student at Freed-Hardeman. I didn't get there till '99.
Okay,
Myrie Chapman was already gone.
Okay, I guess I'm the old guy on the broadcast tonight, maybe.
I think it was you and Clint Ritchie.
Okay, but there weren't enough adjectives to describe that guy. So it's good. Like I said, the quality of play has really gotten to that next level, and you see it trickle down all the way down to the NAIA level. You said that the team we played tonight, that they had several transfers that maybe call it transfer down, but they had previously been with a Division I type program. So the quality play is excellent, and it's nothing for these guys today, right, Gabe, to play above the rim and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that's the game has evolved. It's more space, it's more movement, it's more motion, and it's at a faster pace now. And that was something I think that Freed adapted to, from that slow grind half court pace to a open run and gun style.
Yeah, I thought Freed scored a lot of points in the transition, especially in the first half. They could get out running, man. I was kind of surprised, just kind of looking at the length of Langston. I thought, man, we're going to be in trouble. They're going to be super athletic.
Yeah.
They'll be the one trying to get out in transition. It really wasn't the case very early on. Freed was getting the steals, getting down, and putting it in the basket. And I was really impressed with Freed. And I guess that's where you get the looks can be deceiving. For sure.
Absolutely. And one other thing I noticed, two other things actually, that was really impressive for Freed-Hardeman, which shows you great coaching. And this is kind of really getting in the weeds, but I'll tell you, it made a difference. Is their screen action was phenomenal. Their screen action and their passing on their scoring plays was absolutely phenomenal. They'd get a high screen and a guy would score a couple times off a bounce pass. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was thinking, Travis. I'm like, dang, that guy caught that off a high-low bounce pass. So the screen action and the passing was really good for the team tonight, I thought.
Getting downhill.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
It was a super entertaining game. Like, I've watched some of the NCAA tournament, and I saw some games that didn't hold a candle to this one. So this one was was a great entertainment, kept you involved the entire time. Just when you'd think it was going to slip away, here one of them would come back, and it was awesome to watch.
All right,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Now the question that I do want to bring up, that now that you have won a championship at the NAIA level, there's going to be talks. I mean, not only Coach Stutz is probably going to get some coaching job offers, but they might entertain the idea of either moving into a tougher conference or maybe even entertaining the idea of going to NCAA Division II.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben and Travis? You guys are, you run in a lot of circles and know a lot of people. So is that, you think that's a possibility for us in the future?
I haven't heard anything like that.
Yeah,
I
I
know
agree.
we're from Florence, and UNA just made the jump to D1, and I know everybody in Florence was kind of like, "Why would we do that?"
Right. Yeah.
I
Right.
think, I think it's
It's
worked
tough.
out to some degree, but I've not heard anything like that. I would be shocked, but who knows?
We're not that important. We don't get that kind of news. So I mean, I wouldn't think so either. I would think it would take a few years of. I mean, it took UNA several years to get to that point. And several years of being relevant in football, actually years before, and then they kind of eventually found their way to D1. But I can't
If that's
imagine
where the
that there's a.
money's at, then yeah, that'll happen.
I mean,
But I'm
that's
gonna say
that's
this.
the
I'm gonna
key.
tell you. I'm devil's advocate here. I don't think NAI is good for where we are and what we do with Free. I don't necessarily think we need to go to D2 because here's the thing: if you go D2, you're gonna have to add more sports. You're gonna have to find more money for scholarships.
Hmm.
And it's only one conference that you can go to that's already oversaturated right now, and that's the Gulf South Conference. So now
Yeah.
you're going back with Union, you're going with Christian Brothers, you're going with like you could go where the conference that Trebekah's in, but from Henderson driving all the way up to Philadelphia, to Pennsylvania to play, it's going to be a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
if you're
Dollars,
in the
lots
Gulf
of
South,
money.
you're going down to Florida. So, and that's more money right there. I think where they are right now, Freed is an established power in the NAIA Division One world. And why would you, unless you're dominating NAIA and you're winning championships and
Yeah.
men and
And
women's basketball
yep.
year after year after year after year, I
Uh-huh.
don't think there's a need to right now to go D2.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it would have to be in multiple sports, and there would have to be funding interest in it. I've seen there was a small. You guys have been in Travis. Do you guys remember? Because you guys have come up through where I'm at now. I'm in West Virginia, kind of on the border of Ohio, and there was a fine school here. Ohio Valley University
Yeah.
that had to. They had to. It was so sad because they were like 30 minutes up the road from where I'm at, and it was so sad to see them have to close down. But get this, Gabe, they were Division II with only like 350 students or something like that. And, the discussions were that was a large financial undertaking for them. And that was the wrong move for them. And so sometimes when you make that move, it could hurt you financially as
Oh
a
yeah.
school,
Y'all
So,
remember
I
a few
agree.
years back there was they had a discussion and a talk exploratory committee about going they were talking about getting rid of scholarships at Freed-Hardeman and going Division 3. And
oh,
they shut that down real quick. Like a lot of the coaches were against that. Going Division 3 because you can't give scholarships. You give grant and aid, but there's no scholarship. NAIA, you can get a full ride scholarship, and everybody doesn't really want to go Division 1. Everybody doesn't want to go Division 2. So most kids just want to go and play, but not necessarily be in a big environment. You taking Freed-Hardeman. Think about when we were there, guys. It was a small it was a small school, but we didn't draw a lot of crowd in a big crowd in the sports center. Now you look at it, the student body is packed, the games are louder, people are coming. Look at what just happened this year. You hosted a region game. You weren't gonna do that. You didn't do that 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now you got people coming. People know who Freed-Hardeman is. You're on the national stage. I don't think we need to go anywhere. I think we're fine where we are.
Let's run it back, Coach Stutz. Let's
That's
go.
right.
I agree.
That's right. Let's celebrate. Let's just celebrate tonight.
Yeah.
We'll worry about all the other stuff later. Let's celebrate the dub tonight. We getting rings, y'all. We getting the banner. I'm trying to find out when Chapel gonna be.
That's right. That's right, Gabe. Can you try to get down there for us and give us a report?
I'm going live when I get there.
All right.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, this has really been a blast. What a fun night. We get a chance to celebrate, and I really appreciate you guys just taking time out of your night. I mean, we're going on 11:25 in the Eastern time. I know you guys, Rob, you're on Eastern time. I know you guys are on Central time. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. We've actually gone over an hour talking about Freed-Hardeman in the championship, and this has really been a lot of fun.
Hey, I'm glad.
Thanks
I'm glad
for
to
the
be a part of it. I'm gonna have to jump off because my battery is on 1% on my phone. So, hey guys, it was good catching up with you when I go live at Chapel. Richard, I'm gonna hit you up, and you just get everybody back on.
Absolutely.
Or if they have a parade or something,
All right, Gabe Reynolds.
Y'all take it easy now.
All right, you too.
God bless.
Yeah.
Gabe signing off. Gentlemen, before we close this broadcast, any more final thoughts about Freed-Hardeman basketball?
It's just great to see how far they've come, right? Like what we've talked about. And, and obviously a couple of the players and the coaches, they gave glory to God, on national TV tonight.
Incredible.
And just, we know that, right? At the heart of our institution is God Almighty, Jesus Christ. And so, we couldn't be even more proud of that, right? So we're proud of the growth of the school, the enrollment, what we saw tonight. But most importantly, guys, we're proud that Freed-Hardeman University still continues to be who she is in terms of representing Christian character, the body of Christ. So that's what matters the most. And it was good to see that for our school tonight.
Absolutely, Rob. You said it best. I know that they had their worship service in Kansas City. Drew Stutz, the head coach, said, we want to win this very bad, but, we know what the ultimate goal is, and it's bringing others to Christ, saving souls, and eventually getting to heaven. I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, but that is really that's the bottom line. That's why we do everything with what we have done. I've been truly blessed. I know you guys have been blessed that you were able to go to a Christian school that really teaches that, putting Christ first and spreading the gospel to an area where, I know it seems like it's the Bible Belt and then everybody goes to church, but I mean, we know that that's not the case. And I think that, using sports to spread the gospel, having that Freed-Hardeman connection, every now and then I'll run into somebody I go to church with that also went to Freed-Hardeman, and we just build that connection. And really, I've been truly blessed, and I've been truly blessed that I've gotten to know you guys over the last couple of, the last 20 years.
Absolutely. And Ben and Travis, as you guys travel a lot, do you find that? Do you find like that connection, that Freed-Hardeman connection, that's truly special, like where you just be in some random state or city or place and like, hey, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And just not just with Freed, but with all of the church and different colleges we've got to be a part of. And so it's awesome to be able to do that. Kind of a little side note, Clark Gandy, that was the one of the student coaches for Freed.
Okay.
His granddad goes to church with us, and his aunt and some other family members, and so he's from right here in the area. And actually, Drew Stutz is from our area. His dad preaches at a church just right up the road here. I see his family members all the time around at Mars Hill, and Mars Hill won the state championship in 2A this year.
Yeah.
And I think Drew's family was there at that, and then Drew wins this. So it was a really cool year to see two men's championship games, for a couple of my teams. So
awesome. Yeah, and they mentioned on the broadcast, on the ESPN broadcast, like towards the very end, that he was the son of a preacher. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. They went to camp with us, and me and Travis, and their whole family's kind of been around in a lot of the stuff we've been at. So
Yeah, all those cross connections,
Yeah, I'm always blown away that people who knew me at Freed still talk to me. So, Richard, not only is that the case, Richard has me on his show from time to time, so a lot of forgiveness from Richard, a lot of forgiveness from people who knew college age.
I've actually had all you guys on my show at one time. I know, Ben, I've had you on a couple times. Rob, back in the early days of the Sports Beat, you were my frequent guest.
Oh, absolutely, and hopefully we're not still apologizing to folks, all these years later. Sorry about that.
A lot of forgiveness, a lot of mercy, a lot of forgiveness out there.
Absolutely. And I don't know, Ben and Travis or one or both of you was you guys were up my way not too long ago for a youth rally, I believe. Yeah.
Last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to be very far from there in a couple of weeks, right? Zanesville, Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, Zanesville. Okay.
Zanesville,
all right. Yeah. Shout out to Zanesville. Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll have to see if I can get up that way. That ain't too far. So that's good. That's good.
All right, gentlemen, before I let you go, I'm going to let you have an opportunity to plug what you got going on. Ben and Travis, the floor is yours. Go ahead and plug benandtravis.com and where you could find that podcast and where you could follow Ben and Travis on social media.
Yeah, right here on Facebook, facebook.com/Ben and Travis. We got several different podcasts. I just had my last football podcast, but it was March Madness, the good old-fashioned dislike. We have the Helping Healing Humor came out today. Good Sportsmanship was the episode. And then Ben does the Friday refresh every other Friday, which he has one new one coming out hopefully this Friday as well. But yeah, it's all at benandtravis.com. Got a bunch of free content there for anybody to use. And we just want to do a lot of good. We try to cover a lot of Christian or mental health from a Christian perspective. So Ben, I don't know, did I leave anything out?
Now we got a kids book coming out.
I saw that.
Really excited about that. So hopefully be out within the year sometime, and so check that out. Go pre-order that online at benandtravis.com too.
Awesome.
All right, Rob?
Man, so blessed. I've been in West Virginia up here for about 10 years. And, of course, you guys know good old Matt Cook and Gallagher, with their West Virginia roots. And been loving it up here. I'm currently working for my local school district with the Communities in Schools program, which is a lot like ministry. I'm like a school resource officer working with families and kids in need and stuff like that. I still get to preach a lot on the weekends, churches that'll have me around the area and stuff like that. Kind of just an encouragement ministry. I find that that's very much needed today, just to encourage people, encourage churches, encourage people in their Christian walk and their faith. And been able to do that lately. My son's 12. He's in middle school. He's on the track and field team, and he's loving that. And so get to follow him around all over the place. And so, yeah, it's a real blessing here. And I the best thing I did, Richard, when I first came here that I still get to do is a program called Meaningful Message in a Minute. It's 45 seconds, reminds me of our radio days, a little 45-second devotional thought, with maybe a little bed underneath it. And sometimes those can be the most powerful things. Just give somebody a little something to think about, their day. And that's been highly successful here in our area.
Awesome.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
And Freed-Hardeman,
love you, brother.
Champions.
Woohoo! It's
a great feeling. All right, that'll do it for the Sports Beat Special Edition.
Yeah.
The Freed-Hardeman Championship Edition.
Hey, celebrate good times. Come on.
Now, I can't play that song on my show because I don't own the copyrights, but yeah, we'll celebrate. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.